If you pick the ADC role, you're inherently going to be picking some very, very squishy, very easy to kill champions. And obviously that makes it very, very easy to die in your games of League of Legends. In this video, however, I'm going to give you some tips to help bring down those deaths, help prevent a lot of those deaths, and hopefully improve your performance in your laning phase, especially on ADC. Now, as a disclaimer to this video, this is not really a video of how to play ADC in the perfect way. It is basically how to play ADC in the safe way and how to stop dying, which I know a lot of people have trouble with, especially when they're playing this role. So the first and foremost thing you can do to stop dying as an ADC is to basically pick a safe and pretty easy ADC to play. For these, I would recommend either Ashe, who can poke from really far distance with her W, Caitlyn, who can literally just set up 3 traps in front of her and be very, very safe from anyone trying to engage in her, and finally Lucian, who, if you're confident with dodging skill shots, has a really, really powerful E to get away from any danger that may be coming your way. So now you've gotten to the point where you're in a game, you picked your safe AD carry. What do you do next? Well, for that, I'm going to rewind this clip and commentate over what I was doing in this clip to keep me safe. So at this stage of the game, there are a few things that I want you to notice. Now firstly, I've got an item advantage over this Draven, meaning that we are stronger as a 2v2 unit basically. I've got a BF sword and a longsword, and all he has got is a serrated dirk. And added to this, I'm level 6 and he's only level 5. Now at this stage of the game, me and Leona know that we could kill this Draven if we all-inned him, but we don't know where the enemy jungler is, and as such, we're trying really hard not to overextend, so we're staying behind an imaginary line, you could call it. Now the benefits of not overextending are really, really shown up here. So we get ganked, and if we're any further forwards, it would have been really, really simple for Karma and Nidalee to surround us and get a super easy double kill, very clean for them. As we weren't overextended, this gave us a really good opportunity to outplay the enemy, to kite backwards, and as you see, we get a kill out of it on Nidalee. So that is just amazing for us. That is such a big swing for us. The jungle has put time into our lane, and not only have we not died, we've actually benefited a kill out of it, where we could have just both died if we were just greedy to try and kill that Draven. Now, obviously, I did lose a few CS in that clip, and that is the whole point of this clip. If you avoid overextending, you might lose some CS, but you'll avoid dying, and oftentimes you can turn kills to yourself just because you're not overextending, because you're not being greedy for that CS, for those kills, for whatever you're greeding for. Now this brings me on to my next big point, which is going to be all the time you're playing ADC, you want to basically weigh up the risk-reward of everything you're doing. Now I put this flowchart on screen. I'm not going to leave it there for long. You can pause it if you want to have a better look at it. It's a very simplified diagram. It's not going to work in every scenario, and it's basically for the safe player. But it does basically tell you the main things you want to be focusing on as an ADC. So you've got to ask yourself, am I going to CS or am I going to harass? Right, so if I'm going for CS, well, can the enemies catch me? And if they do catch me, can they kill us in a 2v2? And maybe do they have their jungler with them? Like, where is their jungler? And if all those things are sort of falling into place, so you know their jungler's on the top side, and you know that if you get caught, you can win the 2v2, that is the only time you really need to be ready to actually fight and sort of play proactively and try and get kills in your lane. All the other times, you just need to stay safe, farm up, and you don't really need to worry about kills as an ADC. As an ADC, the main thing you really need to do is get CS to be really, really strong in the late game for your team. Now, I've talked a lot about how to stop dying as an ADC in the laning phase, but obviously it's a whole different game for an ADC once you leave the laning phase, once everyone starts grouping up and you start having these big team fights, particularly if you're against assassins, if you're against Rengars, if you're against Talons, those kind of games. Now playing out these big team fights and playing out the group phase of the game, really a lot of the time it does come down to experience and just being able to simply outplay your enemies. But there is one really big tip that I think a lot of people don't do much, especially against assassins. So let's say you've got a Rengar flying at your face. A lot of people's natural reaction is just to kite backwards, run backwards, get away from him, get away from him. What you can actually do a lot of the time is kite towards your team. So if you're at the back line of your team, you can actually run closer to your front line of your team. So you can actually run forwards, almost like through the Rengar, to get to the bigger tanks in your team, the people who can actually deal with Rengar, because chances are you're not going to be fed enough to 1v1 that Rengar at this stage of the game. Now that tip of course won't work for every game. Some games you just have team comps that really don't have any tanks to them. That's just the nature of solo queue. And honestly, there is not a lot you can do in those games apart from just try and outplay your opponents or just be more fed than them in the laning phase. But anyway, hopefully these tips do help you out, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And hopefully I'll see you again for another video.